G'day folks, it's Dino here and I'm standing, well, in the middle of a creek. Pretty nice looking creek if you ask me. Anyway, I'm here for a reason, not just to stand in the middle of a creek. I'm here because I'm driving this Mitsubishi Triton GLS Auto. And I got to tell you, with a bunch of new utes on the market, you'd wonder why this thing's still selling so well. Well, you probably wouldn't. It's all due to price. This is easily the third best selling 4x4 ute in the country after Ford Ranger and Toyota Hilux, and ahead of Navara and D-Max and BT50 and just about everything else. Ahead of those other ones by a long shot, almost double. And yeah, the reason is this thing comes in at under 50k, whereas for a similar spec in, say, a new D-Max or a Hilux SR5 or a Ranger XLT, it's going to set you back more than 60k. In some cases, a fair bit more than 60k. So what do you get? Well, you get a pretty powerful thing. It's 133 kilowatts, a bit down on the competition, but it's a bit smaller and lighter, so performance-wise, it's still very good. You still get a lot of tech in it. You get, all the safety stuff like lane departure warning and all that sort of stuff. You don't get lane departure assist, which some of the newer utes have got. But you still get a fair bit of kit. You get all the luxury kind of stuff that you want these days, like Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and you get sat-nav and all that kind of stuff. 18-inch alloys, the standard sort of 265, 60-18 rubber on that, which, you could bump up to 265, 70-18 probably without any problems. All in all, it's a pretty good ute. You get decent low-range gearing, not too much world travel, but it's got effective traction control, and it's got a standard rear diff lock as well. You don't get rear aircon vents, but you do get little fan things in the ceiling that blow the cool air from the front to the back. The thing's an absolute bloody bargain. So let's take it for a drive and see how it goes off the road. Down here on the center console, you've got two-wheel drive, 4 high, which most other utes don't have, so you can drive this on the road in 4-wheel drive, full-time 4-wheel drive. 4 high center diff lock and 4 low, which you need to engage neutral to get into 4 low. This is your hill descent control button, and this is to scroll through the modes that pop up on the instrument binnacle. It's mud and snow, we don't need that today, it's pretty warm. Go again, that's sand. Again, there's rock, that's probably the one we want, but I'll just scroll through. There's back to gravel again. So we'll get back into rock, and you can lock the rear diff as well. You can see down here on the bottom left, lets you know once your rear diff lock is engaged. And that does disable the traction control on the front axle when that's engaged. So sometimes you're better off without it, and sometimes you're better off with it locked. Just see how you go, I guess. Now we're in rock, center diff lock, low range, and we'll just give this little thing a bit of a climb. Last time I drove up here, we ran out of wheel travel, but the traction control, as you can hear it working there a bit, gets the Triton up here without too much difficulty. In fact, I think it goes a little bit better on this sort of terrain without the rear diff lock, just relying on the electronic traction control. Well, I've had a pretty good little off-road run this morning, out in one of my favourite little spots, and yeah, I've driven these Tritons a fair bit, and I've got to say, they're always quite impressive, especially when you look at the value for money equation. And of course, that's why people buy these things. They're great value for money. Just because they're cheap though, don't think of them as El Cheapo, because they're certainly not. You get a lot of ute, you get a lot of features, comfort and convenience, you get a lot of safety features as well. But you're missing out on some of the stuff the newer utes have got, but hey, when you're talking 10, 15 or more grand, yeah, this is certainly great value for money.